Greetings, my Monday morning class. I didn't see you this week because of Thanksgiving, and I wanted to do, a quick update, and I wanted to review some of the things that were discussed in my other classes this week. So here we go. Last week, memory, study plots, digital tools, learners as designers. We will revisit the questions that were created from the World War II lecture. Thank you. I'm still collating those. We will revisit that. I discussed in all of my classes the video journal to give some ideas. And I know this video is coming at the end of the week, but it may help as you shape the video over the weekend. So I'm just going to go to my real-time board, which is a cool digital tool. It's basically a virtual whiteboard. And the discussions that we had this week was some students in the design of their video begin with the larger theme. That's what comes first. So in one conversation I had this week, wellness was the theme that the student had. I want to do my video on wellness, but they didn't have the 3 ideas or 3 entries. So upon discussion, we got to things like anxiety. There you go. That's a great journal entry. What were you feeling at the very beginning of the semester, this new experience? What are you doing to manage your anxiety? So that was the conversation we had about taking a larger theme and then drilling down. The next entry could be something like services, or what the student is really doing to manage their anxiety. So in this case, the student began with a theme and then drilled down for their 3 journal entries. Conversely, some students don't know their larger theme, but they may have ideas about how the semester began, before the semester, and what they thought that experience was going to be versus what that experience has turned into. What are they learning? What services, whether it's SALs or maybe they got a coach, what are they connecting with? Is there coursework that they really engaged with and found useful? So some students begin with the 3 ideas, but don't know what their larger theme is. My suggestion here is to find the common thread between your 3 things. Whatever those 3 things are, there's got to be some common element, some common reflection, some words that you keep writing down. And if you can tie those back to your learning, I'm pretty sure you're going to have a successful larger theme. So I just wanted to share that, how you can shape your video and try and get a synthesized idea to emerge. And make sure that whatever you talk about, coursework, services, your thoughts and ideas, make sure it's super concrete. Show images. Prove that you went to SALs. Make the responses in your video visual and concrete. Okay, I'm going to move on. In my other classes, we used the points system to discuss throughout the class. My theme of the week was basically about critical thinking, information literacy. Those were the big themes. And we also did an activity where we made groups got together quickly and made a quick argument. And we're going to revisit that as we move throughout the semester. So I began with, some provoking quote talking about journalism. We talked about clickbait. You click on this stuff and where does it go? I've got a link here to a bunch of different information sources. It's an infographic. It's very easy to follow and understand. About the different sources of information, everything from a tweet to a journal article. How many sources does it have? Is it reviewed? Credibility. Credibility is the theme. So you can flip through these slides. I'm just going to pull up a few of them. This was an important one where it led me to a discussion about research, and I am a geeked out researcher and I get really excited about research. We identify a topic, and this is really important for your upcoming group project. Form into teams of 4. I know I didn't see you guys on Monday. Don't delay. Get into a team of 4. Look at those assignment guidelines. Develop a topic or a research question. And when we identify that, we got to go out and find information. When we go out and find information, we don't want Jim's blog. We want something credible, and that's the evaluate part. Is this information credible? Was it fact-checked? Does the person actually have any kind of research background? Are they being paid to produce this information? And when we evaluate and find quality information, we apply it. In our class, we're going to do group presentations, but it could also be a paper. And that's really the two sort of most common forms of where you will apply information excuse me, in a group project, whether it's a paper or a presentation. I also broached the acknowledge part because this is something we're going to continue as we discuss, and really what I'm talking about here is the value of research and giving credit where credit is due. And we do this through what's known as citation. In our citation style, generally speaking, sciences are APA, humanities are MLA, we are APA. So I talk about what can happen in the event of plagiarism, for example. I have plagiarism examples. I show an academic alert. I broach these things not to fearmonger, but I want us to know what it looks like on the page when we throw information around and don't cite it correctly. And I point you to style guides. Now, this one here is the MLA style guide, but also in here is the APA style guide. I'm just going to move to DC Connect for a moment. And in the content area, before the course even began, I posted a slew of APA, I just called it style guide, but in here is the APA style guide comparison. Some of you want to use footnotes, and I'm a I was a history major, and that's what we used, was Chicago style or footnotes. We don't use that. We use what's known as parenthetical APA. I've got a quick handy poster in there, links to the OWL Purdue, lots of good resources there. If you've cited information in the past, then this may be a refresher, and maybe we can take it a little bit further. If you've never cited information in the past, then this is great. We're going to dig into this because this is the way that papers or presentations, we give credit where credit is due. So I do talk a bit about plagiarism, but I sort of emphasize when you go and get information, you're setting off a chain of events. You grab that fact or that information or that idea, you must put in an in-text citation that'll lead to the references page so I can evaluate, or we can evaluate, the reader can evaluate the quality of that source of information. The other theme was the value of research, and quick and dirty, I would say, garbage in, garbage out. If the information quality, whether that's data that we gather, so somebody working in a lab mixing chemicals, or going out and gathering survey information, that is primary research because we did it ourselves. Now, the bulk of the research that you will do, generally speaking at the college level, is secondary. It's when we read quality articles, hopefully journal articles, peer-reviewed, fact-checked, scholarly information. So if you walk away from this particular week, one big idea would be primary versus secondary. I discussed postal codes, and we kind of have to be in the room together to do this, but a lot of businesses ask for your postal code, and really we generate as a class in a discussion, what can I find out about you? And I think some students are surprised to find out that I can match your postal code, not just with your location, but I can figure out how your neighborhood is zoned. Residential, the size of the houses, I can determine average household income based on that information. I can correlate that information with StatsCan. I can figure out if you're a family because families spend more money, or is it, a single bedroom condo? How far did you drive to get to the store? And I can build profiles of you of spending patterns. And I have some examples of that. I flip to, and you can read these slides about distance determinism, central place theory. I show a RibFest example, and my RibFest example, which I'm happy to return to, is really us surveying the people that go to RibFest so that we can make better decisions. What's working, what's not. And, I was involved with Ribfest for about 9 years with stage management and, booking the bands and all that stuff, making sure the entertainment went smoothly. And I was also the MC, but I also, occasionally would participate in the research end of things because it's fascinating. So if the information that we gather is unreliable, then we're going to make crummy decisions. I've got political examples as well, but I'm just moving through my slides pretty quickly here. So there's a lot of concepts, big ideas here you can work on, or at least engage with. Lots of good stuff in the modules. I don't know why this is so super blurry, but we are moving toward a group process. We are moving toward a group research project. I'm hoping that we can move away from this idea that group projects suck. Because they don't. And there's a lot of reasons I could point to. I'll point briefly to Bandura's social learning theory. We do learn on our own. We do read and do a lot of work on our own. But outside of that, there's a whole context of our environment. You're in an environment right now at the college where there is a whole lot of stuff going on, and it's influencing you. And you're also seeing other people who are modeling behaviors. Especially if you get into a group work situation and you work with somebody who's super organized, and you can pick up tips and tricks from them. So working in a team is not just about a production assembly line of putting together a presentation or a paper. There is a little bit of that to it, of course, work processes. But you can actually learn a great deal because you may have to teach somebody something, and that's a great way to learn if you're in a team. So we're moving toward a group project. So the big ideas there were information literacy. We did an activity on that, which I may revisit depending on how our schedule turns out. So I encourage you to get into a group. Pretty pleased with Sugar on Top. I know there is some conjecture out there about possible strike action. There will be updates posted, I'm sure. It's still unclear if that's going to happen or not. So over the weekend, good luck with the journals. Stay tuned to DC Connect for updates. I just wanted to push those big themes at you. Lots of great materials related to this in the week 6 modules. And what else? I think that's about it for now. So I didn't get to see you guys on Monday, but please continue your work and we will regroup as soon as possible. So please stay tuned for updates, and I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for checking in. Bye for now.